Hi, my name is Alexis Mitchell. I will speak to you today about why home care for an elderly or ill person is better and more comfortable than a nursing home. And I will persuade you to maybe think more about choosing home care for a relative or a close friend other than a nursing home. First, I'm going to talk to you about the pros and cons of each. The pros of being in a nursing home depends on the family status. If you don't have family that's close by, or if they're working a lot and don't have the full time to actually care for the person and be there all the time, then a nursing home may be a better choice. Another pro about a nursing home is that the person will have social interaction, whereas at home they may just stay home all the time and not go out, not be out in the community, and in the nursing home they'd have other people with them. Some cons of being in a nursing home is that they're not at home, they're not comfortable in their bed, especially depending on how ill the person may be. It might be harder for them and more stressful and just much less comfortable. They're in a strange environment. There's other sick people around, depending on how sick other people could be. They could catch something from being in the nursing home that they wouldn't if they were at home in their own environment. Third thing I think about with a person being in a nursing home is that the family may come to visit less often. You may find that after a while, because the family is comfortable with the thought of their relative being in a nursing home, they may, just know that they're safe and not come to see them as often as they would if they were at home alone. Fourth con of being placed in a nursing home is the expense. And nursing homes tend to be very expensive, especially depending on how long, the person is in the nursing home for. The pros of being at home is kind of like the cons of being in a nursing home. The family could be always around, especially if you have someone who doesn't work as often or lives down the street and is able to come to the house more often. The person will always have their family around, always get visits. They're in their own home. They're surrounded by their own germs, and they're less likely to get sick from something else that someone else has. It's a familiar environment. They're usually used to their home, and they're much more comfortable. I think about, especially when a person is in their last stages of life, would you want to be in a hospital bed, or would you want to be home in your own bed, in your own sheets, with just your family there? The cons of being at home as opposed to being in a nursing home is there is much more responsibility on the family. The person may need complete total care, and that could be hard to do sometimes. And it could be hard for a family member to have to come home from work and take total care or take off of work to be there for the relative, and that does happen. We all work. Also, not everyone has a family who's right down the street. If you have a family that's hours away or a significant amount of time away, then if the person is in immediate distress and needs care right there and then, or needs to be transferred to a hospital, it may be harder and it may take more time for someone to get to them. Why is this important to you? Well, we all come to that point in life where we have a family member or relative, whether it's a mom or dad or just a guardian or whatnot, who is getting more ill. Sometimes, we have elderly that develop dementia and need more care. And you have to kind of think about, am I going to put my family member into a nursing home, or am I going to keep them at home? And it's a hard decision, and just being a nurse, I kind of see how being at home for the patient is usually a lot more comfortable, but it's also a lot more harder on the family. So there's a lot of pros and cons. Why is there a need for this? Well, there's not many nursing homes. There are a lot, but there's not many, and they do tend to fill up. And I've seen this decision in nursing become harder and harder for families. So there's a need for this knowledge to kind of always sit down and think about when that time comes, what your plan is going to be and what you're going to do. The benefits I kind of talked to you about, the patient is at home, they're comfortable, they feel safe. Not everyone is a social person. Not everyone, especially at an elderly age, wants to interact with a bunch of different people. And as far as like action, I just ask you to please think about, your family members and think about whether putting them in a nursing home is the right decision or keeping them at home would be a better decision for them.